The internet is a place of infinite information, but it's also a vast digital ocean with dark, uncharted depths. In these hidden corners, strange stories and cryptic puzzles emerge, capturing the collective imagination of millions before fading into obscurity. Some are hoaxes, some are games, but a few remain stubbornly, unnervingly unsolved. Today, we're re-diving into 8 of the most persistent internet mysteries and examining the most plausible explanations that have surfaced over the years. First, on June 17, 2011, a 32-year-old man named Jack Froese passed away from a heart arrhythmia. His death was sudden and unexpected, leaving his friends and family devastated. 5 months later, something strange happened. His closest friends began receiving emails from his account. The messages were personal and intimate. One friend, Tim Hart, received an email with the subject line, "I'm watching." The body of the email simply said, "Did you hear me? I'm at your house. Clean your attic."
Attic.
This was a reference to a private conversation the two had shortly before Froese's death. Another friend received a message of encouragement about an injury. The immediate assumption was that his account was hacked or that a family member had his password. However, his mother insisted that she didn't know his password and wouldn't have done something like that. The most common explanation is that he used a third-party service like Dead Man's Switch, which sends out pre-written emails if a user doesn't log in for a certain period. But no one could ever confirm he used such a service, leaving a small, lingering question mark. Next, we have a story that spirals into a labyrinth of conspiracy. In 2009, a Reddit user named Rilajoffice died. He was a prolific commenter, known for his controversial and often offensive posts. After his death, his digital estate was managed by an individual known as the Archivist. This archivist revealed that Religion Office was actually a man named Milo, and that Milo was a moderator for a bizarre, invitation-only subreddit called Lake City Quiet Pills. The subreddit appeared to be a front for a global network of mercenaries or assassins. The posts were written in a strange coded language, referring to quiet pills as a euphemism for assassinations and discussing logistics for shipments. The prevailing theory is that it was an elaborate alternate reality game, or ARG. The complex lore and cryptic posts were all part of a fictional narrative. However, the sheer depth of the content and the discovery that Milo was a real person who had actually died led some to believe it was something more. The truth of his connection to the site and the site's ultimate purpose was buried with him. Then there's the puzzle of A858, officially known as 858DE45F56D9BC9. For years, a subreddit with this name was relentlessly spammed by an automated bot. The bot would post long strings of hexadecimal code, typically at specific regular intervals. For a long time, nobody could crack it. The community dedicated to solving it believed it could be anything from a numbers station communicating with spies to a data laundering scheme. Occasionally, the bot would post an ASCII image, like a picture of Stonehenge, breaking up the monotony of code. Finally, in 2016, a breakthrough happened. One of the posts was decoded, revealing the logo for the Cicada 3301 puzzle, another famous internet mystery we'll get to later. This suggested that 858 was either a part of Cicada, a recruitment tool for them, or a copycat paying homage. After this reveal, the bot posted one final message: "Softnet, out." Then it went silent. The most likely explanation is that it was an elaborate, long-running art project or a test for a larger puzzle, but its true creator and purpose remain anonymous. This next one played out in real time on Twitter. On April 30th, 2018, a user with the handle ThisInVanished began tweeting. The first tweet read, "Help." From there, a terrifying story unfolded. The user, whose location was unknown, documented a world where the sun had simply disappeared, plunging the planet into permanent darkness. He was trapped in his house, hearing strange noises outside, and seeing terrifying figures in the distance, drawn to any source of light. He posted grainy videos and distressed updates, creating a found-footage horror story on the platform. Millions followed along, captivated and terrified. However, after a few months of intense activity, it became clear this was a very well-executed ARG. The creator, an artist named Ugis Berzins, eventually confirmed it was a work of fiction. While it's solved in that we know it's not real, it stands as a landmark example of how easily a fictional narrative can blur the lines of reality on the internet, creating a temporary, shared delusion. Now we go back to the early days of the web. In 1996, the Usenet discussion system, a precursor to modern forums, was flooded with hundreds of bizarre, nonsensical messages. They all had the same subject line: Markovian parallax denigrate. The body of the messages was just gibberish, seemingly random words strung together. It was one of the first major spam attacks in internet history, and it was deeply unsettling. People didn't know if it was a computer virus, a secret code, or just the ramblings of a disturbed individual. Years later, an investigation pointed to a specific user, a student named Susan Lindauer. However, she was later found to be mentally unwell, and it's unclear if she was the true source or just a scapegoat. The leading theory today is that it was an early experiment with Markov chains, a type of algorithm that generates semi-coherent text by predicting the next word based on previous words. Someone was likely testing a primitive chatbot or spam bot. But because the internet of 1996 was a much smaller, more intimate place, the event felt like a personal, targeted intrusion, a ghost in the machine that was never fully exorcised. This one moves from mysterious to genuinely disturbing. In 2015, a YouTube channel called Obscure Horror Corner uploaded a series of videos titled Sad Satan. The creator claimed he found the game on the deep web and was playing through it. The game itself was a lo-fi horror maze. The player walks down dark corridors while unsettling audio plays, including distorted recordings of interviews with notorious criminals. The game also flashed disturbing images, some of which were graphic pictures of abuse. The original channel owner stopped posting, saying the game had created a strange file on his computer that he couldn't delete. The mystery deepened when a supposed clean version of the game was distributed, which was found to be loaded with actual malware. The story's accepted explanation is that the original game was a hoax created by the channel owner himself. However, it was later linked to another, far more sinister YouTube channel, which did post genuine and illegal graphic content before being terminated. The line between the fictional horror game and the real-world horrors it was associated with became terrifyingly blurred, leaving a dark stain on the internet's history. Our next mystery has a real-world value of over $1 trillion. October 31st, 2008. A person or group using the name Satoshi Nakamoto published a white paper detailing a new peer-to-peer electronic cash system. The system was called Bitcoin. For the next 2 years, Satoshi collaborated with other developers online to launch the software, mining the first block of Bitcoins himself and setting the entire cryptocurrency world in motion. Then, in 2011, he disappeared, sent a final email saying he had moved on to other things and has not been heard from since. His identity remains the single biggest mystery in tech. A few people have claimed to be Satoshi, most notably an Australian academic named Craig Wright, but none have been able to provide definitive proof. Like moving the early Bitcoins that only the real Satoshi would control. The leading suspects are computer scientists like Nick Chabot or Hal Finney, who was the first person to receive a Bitcoin transaction from Satoshi, but Finney passed away in 2014 and always denied it. The implications are enormous. Satoshi is estimated to hold around 1 million Bitcoins. If that person ever decided to sell, they could crash the entire crypto market, making the identity of this ghost not just a puzzle, but a matter of global financial security. Finally, we arrive at the most legendary and complex mystery the internet has ever produced. Cicada. 3301. On January 4th, 2012, an image was posted on 4chan. It was white text on a black background, announcing a search for highly intelligent individuals. To find them, the message said, they had devised a test, signed off with 3301. This kicked off an incredible global scavenger hunt. The first puzzle led to another, which led to a phone number, which led to GPS coordinates for posters placed in cities around the world. From Warsaw to Miami, the puzzles involved cryptography, steganography, classic literature, and obscure philosophy. A select few who solved all the stages were reportedly led to a private forum on the deep web. After that, they went silent. The puzzle repeated in 2013 and 2014, each time more complex than the last. Then, after 2014, nothing. Theories about who is behind Cicada 3301 are wild. These mysteries serve as a potent reminder of the web's dual nature. It is a tool for connection and knowledge, but also a space where anonymity can breed puzzles that may never be fully solved. The search for answers continues in forum threads and video essays, driven by our deep-seated need to understand the unknown. If this exploration into the web's dark corners is something you find compelling, subscribing ensures you won't miss our next deep dive.